Hi everybody. Our first flipped lesson is going to be 2.1 comparing and ordering decimals. We already know what decimals are. Here we have 2.1, 2, and 2.3. So in a whole number, hopefully you guys remember that the decimal goes on the very right side of that number, making it a whole number. And now we need to think of these as money, is my suggestion. So we can always annex zeros at the end of our decimals to make them look like dollar amounts, and that makes it easier for us to compare these. In order to compare these, I suggest writing them vertically. So 2.10, 2.00, and 2.30. In order to compare decimals to see which one's bigger and which one's smaller, we need to look at each place value and compare them individually. So in the 1 spot, these all have the same number, 2. Now we move to the 10th spot, and the smallest one would be the one with the 0. So 2.00 comes first. I'll cross that one off since I'm done with it. The next smallest number would be the 2.10. 2.10. I will cross that off, and the next number would be 2.30, which is the largest. And that is how we compare decimals and put them in order. Here is our next problem where I want you to put these decimals in order from least to greatest, so from smallest to biggest. And I will give you about 20 seconds to write these down. The first one is 17.24, 17.63, 18.11, 17.41, and 17.09. Luckily, these all still look like dollar amounts, so they should be a little easier to work through. So let's begin. In the tens position, we have a 1 all the way across the board. Now we can move to the next place value, which is our ones digit, and we have 7s, 8, and 7s. So I'm going to move the 18.11 over here because we know it's automatically the largest since it has an 8 in the 1 spot, but now we need to focus on the ones that have a 7 in the ones position. Since those are all the same, we now move to the tenths. We have a 0, a 4, 0, 4, 6, and 2. The smallest one would be 17.09. We'll cross that one off. The next smallest would be 17.24. After that would be 17.41. Then we have 17.63. And don't forget about the largest one, which is 18.11. So if you think of these like money, of course $17.09 would be the smallest, and $18.11 would be the largest. Now we need to talk about some symbols that we use in mathematics. We have this symbol, and this symbol. The first symbol says less than, my mistake. Less than. We have greater than. And the last one is equal to. Now when you were in elementary school, they probably said the mouth eats the bigger number. And I like to say this one kind of looks like an L, so it stands for less than. We're going to use these symbols to compare two different numbers. So we will have two numbers and then we will put one of these symbols in the middle. Alright, so our first problem is 30.12 and the other decimal is 30.4. Now before I even begin, I might annex a 0 so that I'm easier able to compare these. So starting With both of these decimals, I have a 3 and a 3. Those are the same. I have a 0 and a 0. Those are the same. Next place value, I have a 1 and a 4. That means the mouth needs to eat the decimal on the right because there is a 4 in this place value, which is bigger than this 1. And if you think of it like money, $30.40 is, of course, bigger than $30.12, and our sentence now says 30.12 is less than 30.40. Our next problem is 7.7 and 7.70. If I annex a 0 on the left number, I can now see that each place value is exactly the same, so these are equal to each other. The last one is 5.701 and 5.699. Starting with the first place value, I have a 5 and a 5. Then I have a 7 and a 6. The 7 is bigger than the 6, so the decimal on the left is greater than the decimal on the right. Your classwork assignment for today is page 57, numbers 4 and 5. Also, on page 58, numbers 1 through 14 and 16 through 21. If you do not get this finished in class, you will need to finish it at home.